Yo, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless and thank you for tuning in. For those tuning in for the first time, thank you for tuning in. And for those who always consistently keep supporting me, I thank you. Thank you so much. And God bless you and thanks for tuning in. Today I want to discuss something very important to me called nutrition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're a lot more educated now about nutrition than how we were many years ago. Diabetes, especially if diabetes runs in your family. I know it runs in mine. I had a family member that lost 2 years ago, almost 2 years now, that lost a leg due to diabetes. Had another family member that lost a toe due to diabetes. Had family members that died, many family members that died because of cancer. I had, ladies and gentlemen, what we consume in our bodies is so important. Especially, it's a very important discussion. Because what I studied, 75% is what you eat, 25% is working out. It's okay to work out. It's okay to get your body fit, because I work out. It's okay to keep your body fit and working out. But ladies and gentlemen, due to my family history, I consume this every day. Every day. I want to see my kids at least reach 20 years old. Every day I consume this, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Water. And I'll tell you why that water is very important. And water is also very important because it dilutes the sugars and diabetes and the sugars and the salt in your body. It's not good to partake of so much salty meats like steak, the pork. I and Isaac don't eat no steak and pork. I don't eat red meats. I don't consume red meat. Now, you see, I grew up Guyanese. Family's Guyanese. I'm Guyanese. So I grew up eating with a pepper pot and certain meats I can partake of. I know I like the black pudding. Ground black pudding. I know I like certain things from my back home meats, my back home culture, my back home food. Like food from back home. But I'm also more educated now, more mindful of what I put in my body. As I get older, I get more educated on what's important for your body mechanism. And partaking of meats, like you walk down to the store, you're walking down to the store and you buy cold cut sandwiches. No, ladies and gentlemen, the cold cuts can bring high blood pressure because if you eat, every time when you eat, especially if you like to eat out a lot, and that's what you got to be careful of. Nothing wrong with once in a while. I don't know why you would eat out so much because of the inflation right now, but once in a while to treat yourself, maybe it's a birthday party, maybe it's something that you're going out and you just want to practice, but it cannot be consistent. It not only hurts your pockets, but it also hurts your body. Because consumption of certain meats can bring high blood pressure. Always eating outside can bring high blood pressure because remember, it's advertisement. They are there to lure you in, and there's a lot of salt. Now you can read the food content on the label, but still, ladies and gentlemen, if you're rushing to work and you don't have time to prepare your meal, maybe take the night before you go to work, maybe about 2-3 minutes to prepare that meal, and your body will thank you for it because we know what we put in our bodies. But when you go outside and you consume whatever meal that there is, it will consume. You go to restaurants and takeouts, and you're eating that consistently. It plays a toll on your body, ladies and gentlemen. It sneaks up on you. High blood pressure. It sneaks up on you. It's a silent killer. Get strokes. A stroke. I know how to love when I suffer from stroke. So all these, so you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, of what you consume in your body. Now, it's okay to work out, but it's what you partake in, what we consume, what we put in our body community, what we put in our, what we eat, what we partake of. Now, I know people say, well, I work out, I take the protein shakes, and I take the shakes. Nothing wrong with taking a protein shake, but you gotta monitor that. Everything in moderation, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta monitor that too as well, because you see, with the sugars, you gotta be careful of. Because this thing called diabetes, it rots out a lot of people's body, man. It rots your body out. The thing that's called diabetes, you gotta be careful. Even when it's partaking of the shake and the high protein shakes and certain, now you can, certain things you can consume. You can consume beans, that's protein. Peanuts is protein. You can consume rice, which is carbohydrates. In order for you to keep your body fit and working out, and you can consume salmon. Salmon is also a good thing too. It's also protein, and it's also good to. It helps you with your. It's also good for your body as far as working on lifting. If you're lifting weights, if you're running, but if you're trying to lose weight too as well, be careful how you eat as well. Even when you're lifting weights, be careful what you eat, because 75% is what you eat. Only 25% is working out. So we got to be mindful, and we got to be careful what we consume, ladies and gentlemen. I teach the kids that too. My son always say, yeah, I'm gonna go grab an apple. Why? Because these are practices that you have to practice from when you're young. If you don't train up kids while you're young, and you train them to eat the sweets and the cookies and the Twinkies and the certain Edamame cakes and all these sweet things all the time, if they consume it all this consistently every week, it catches up to you. That's the thing, it catches up to you when you get older. You could be 10 years old, and kids like sweets, I understand that. You could be 10, 11 years old, but when you hit your 20s, or close to 30, or pushing 40, man, it catches up to you. It catches up to you. And when I mean it catches up to you, it catches up to your body. Now you're battling diabetes, you're battling high blood pressure, you're battling certain, it's just battling, your body's battling these ailments. And this is how we can, but when you practice eating good, man, you practice eating good. Now, even when it comes to catching a cold, certain, depending on what you eat too as well. Yes, it's germs too that make you catch the flu, but it's also what we put in our bodies to help us fight the flu. Because right now in New York City, it's basically flu season right now. People catching cold, coughing, catching cold. COVID is on a rise again. So we got to practice eating good. Maybe we got to consume more vitamin C to fight the colds that we have, the coughing and the colds that we have. And you also got to consume things like ginger, raw ginger. If you're battling a cold, raw ginger is the best thing to have. Consume raw ginger tea. Heat up that tea. Don't put no sugar in it, because we're fighting against diabetes. Now, but you see, a lot of people don't know what causes diabetes. Yes, it's the consumption of sugar, but it's also the consumption of certain meats too. And people don't know. Yes, meats give you high blood pressure too. But when you go into the store, this is how diabetes catch up to you. You're going out. I want to buy a sandwich, a hero sandwich. You go to the deli, or like in New York City we call bodega deli. You go to the store. You order a quarter pound. You order cheese, and you order ham, and you put in your sandwich. And before you know it, you eat that every time. You make it a habit. You make it a habit, and then next thing you know, you've been diagnosed with diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, they'll take your money, but they won't educate you. They take your money, but it's not their job to educate you. It's up to yourself to educate yourself. We gotta take control of our lives. We gotta be held accountable for our lives, for our own lives, what we consume, what we put in our body, and we gotta teach our kids the same way too. Because kids, they get exposed to, if they go out, they get exposed to candy and sweets. But when they're under our household, we gotta educate them on what's good to eat and what's not good to eat. Nothing wrong with treating yourself to a little candy and ice cream maybe every few months, or maybe a nice sugary thing every few. But we got everything in moderation, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot teach your kids to consume sweets every single day, giving them cookies every day. But teach them how to eat sometimes fruits, and put that vegetables on their plate. I know my kids love salad. So what I do is I always put salad on their plates. Why? Because I don't want them to be diagnosed with diabetes or later on suffering high blood pressure because daddy wasn't mindful or mommy wasn't mindful. We gotta be careful what we give our kids too, because as they get older, their bodies change. Our bodies change as we get older. So we gotta be mindful of what we eat and what we put in our body mechanisms. Well, the live word of the day is coming out of Leviticus chapter 11, verses 7 to 8. And Moses and the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron about the pig, because its parts, the hoofs and cloven foot, which does not chew the cud, is unclean to you to eat. You shall not eat any of their flesh, and you shall not touch their carcasses. They are unclean. I don't have to worry about that, because in my household, we do not eat pork. We don't eat steak. We don't eat pork. No red meat. No red meat. Red meat causes high blood pressure. And I'm going according to the word of God. Now, God ordered, this is in the book of Exodus, after Moses and his brother Aaron was able to free from the Egyptian rule in Egypt. God protected the Hebrews coming out of Egypt. And as they go to the promised land, God told Moses and Aaron, the two brothers, what to partake of. And he ordered them not to partake of the pig. Now, I know about a pig. Now, when the Bible talks about chew the cud, like the hoofs, like you talk about the hoofs, but also talk about chewing the cud. Now the hoof. Now what has hoofs? We know horses have hoofs. We know pigs have hoofs. We know goats have hoofs. Certain animals have hoofs. They have hoofs. Now the pig has a hoof too. But the difference between a pig and a cow and a goat and a deer has hoofs too. The difference between the pig and the rest of the animals I mentioned, the pig eats those wild boars and pigs eat everything. They eat their own feces. Pigs will eat their own if they're laying dead. Pigs eat everything. Pigs will eat you if you're laying with a cut and you're unconscious. They'll start to eat you. Because pigs are filthy animals and they'll eat any and everything in sight. So that's why I and Isaac's do not eat pig or swine. Don't eat it. If it's red meat, I'm not good. No. Ladies and gentlemen, it also gives you high blood pressure if that runs in your family. If you consume meat, and meats usually when they season certain meats, they can season it with lots of salt, lots of sodium. So it can taste good. Lots of sodium. And that can also contribute to high blood pressure. And it also can allow your kidneys to collapse. Okay? It can contribute to these ailments. So we got to be mindful what we eat. Because nobody's going to care for you or your family. When you go into, I know sometimes it's not normal going out to eat maybe once in a blue moon. Why I say once in a blue moon? Listen, let's face it. There's an inflation right now. Things are expensive. Restaurants are expensive right now. Very expensive right now. So it's in your best interest to practice learning how to prepare your meals, because only you know how much salt you put in your meal. Only you know how much salt you put in your meal, ladies and gentlemen. Only you know. So let's be careful of how we train our kids, give them good habits and what to eat. I know I'm always buying fruits for my kids, but I also my kids love salad, so I make sure that they have salad on their plates. So let's be educated and mindful of what we consume, ladies and gentlemen. What we put on our body chemistry, what we put on our body community. Well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Thanks for tuning in. If you're tuning in, you can, if you're on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button, give me a like on this content, or if you're on Facebook, you can also, on Instagram, on Facebook, you can also hit the like button, get my views up. God bless and be safe out there. Thank you for tuning in.